what must we all have as entertainers to be successful?
Stubbornness.
Great answer. Great. You don't hear that often. You don't hear that often.
You have to be stubborn. And I will say that throughout my career, my life in general, I think I've been stubborn because I'm so focused on what I want and what I know I am good enough to get or achieve or win or whatever it is, or a part in a movie or a TV show or whatever it is. But there has to be a level of stubbornness because this is a very hard entertainment as a whole. Professional sports as a whole are so competitive, and you have to be that one in a million, and you have to be stubborn enough to tell yourself, like, I am that one in a million.
Okay. If there's one thing about yourself that I want to say a flaw, because I think we all grow as people, but one thing about yourself that you're willing to share about that you're working on to this day as a person, what is it? Is it patience? What could it be?
Especially with just how like the last year of my life has gone, I realize that sometimes I'm too much of a people pleaser. Like I am I'm like, yep, totally. And I will like stay late, do whatever, like just because I'm like, I just want to make sure everybody's happy. And like and then sometimes to my detriment, or like sometimes like instead of just like allowing myself to really focus on myself, sometimes I'm just like kind of like, a people pleaser. I don't know how else to say it, but I sometimes need to learn to be a little bit more selfish and worry about me as a person. So, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like,
no, we all go through that. I think that in our respective fields, relationships are everything. And I think that sometimes within our fields, you can either do one or too much of the other thing. You can either be, like you said, too stubborn and not really get along and say no to everything and be cast as a goal, as not as a hard person to work with.
Yeah, hard to deal with. Or
hard to deal with, right? Yeah, right. Or you can do the opposite and everybody loves you, but you're not happy within yourself.
And you just, you're like, it becomes also for me, I've always thought of myself as I'm very sensitive to like people's energy. Like I can walk in a room and I'm like, I feel like I know right away if I'm going to like get along with someone or not. And so sometimes when you're in these very competitive environments or in different workplaces, and because I'm so sensitive, and because I like can just feel like it like makes me tired. Like I become like, I don't know, like, when you're just like spreading yourself too thin sometimes, and like just you're giving so much, but then you're like get home and you're just like, oh my God, I can't even think straight, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it becomes, because it's tough out here, man. And you got to think, man, we're like I always say, and I can always say on every show, man, we are mercenaries, man. We are mercenaries for how we eat. We're our own bosses. We're our own managers a lot. We got to speak up for ourselves. We got to negotiate our own money a lot of the times, unless you have someone that you can trust. And
also like as a woman, like sometimes when you do stand up for yourself, you get viewed as being difficult, or you be viewed as, oh, she doesn't want to listen, or she's a bitch, or she's, like all this kind of stuff. So you have to become like you're over, at least for me, it was like sometimes I overthink what I'm going to say, because I don't want to offend anybody, and we live in a world where it's like, I can speak my truth and speak how I feel about something, and then I will instantly get attacked by people who, honestly, if I saw them on the street, would I ask their opinion about anything that has to do with me? Absolutely not. So why do I care? But it's just, we live in like this crazy time of like, I do think it is, and that's why I'm trying to be more like, speak my truth and be strong and powerful as the woman that I know that I am, as opposed to just kind of sitting back and being like,